everybody. I just arrived in London because tomorrow is the day for freedom, and I am joined right now by Susanna, who is also known as Opinionated European, who's going to tell me what's going on, what the event is about, and what we can expect. So first, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what you do and who you are?
Hey guys, so I'm Susanna, also known as Opinionated European, Opinionated Euro on Twitter. I basically am an independent journalist working on some projects right now, trying to expose basically the government, the left-wing media for what they are, who they are, and yeah, so
you're another one of these conservative personalities that I tend to interview all the time for some reason.
Basically, but I'm also involved with really what is going on right now in the United Kingdom and trying to make an impact, not just sort of sitting in front of my camera and talking about, my own perception of how the world should be.
So the reason I want to talk to you is we met last time I was here during the liberalist thing, and then I'm pretty sure that was before that video came out, the Day for Freedom video, which yeah, and then you have all these personalities with duct tape on their mouths, and then you were one of them. And so I think you surely must know what's happening with this event, what it is. So there you go. What is it?
Yeah, of course. So basically, the thing that tipped the balances for the people who are organizing the event was Tommy being banned on Twitter, and also Lauren Southern, Brittany Pettibone, and Martin Sellner being banned from the country for doing a social experiment. Basically, what is going on currently in Europe, but predominantly in the United Kingdom, is legislation which is restricting freedom of speech, like the Public Order Act, for example, as well as just the general attitude of a lot of people is that we should be restricting free speech and that there is a difference between free speech and hate speech, which we basically disagree with. And so we think that just crying about this on YouTube won't solve any problems. And so all of these people who are involved in it decided that it's important to put up this event to show how many people, the silent majority basically, actually want free speech and support this fundamental right, but simply they are afraid to speak their mind and stand up because they feel alone. In the UK, we have this thing called the silent Tory phenomenon, and Tory is like the slang for the Conservative Party. And basically people who are conservative rarely speak about it. Brexit voters rarely speak about it, especially in London, because it's such a liberal environment. And so we want to show basically that there is a lot of us that we are the silent majority, the silent 52%, and yeah, that we believe in free speech.
You said it was the Public Order Act? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so that's one of the laws that regulates free speech in the United Kingdom.
Can you explain what it is?
Well, basically, it has racial, religious.
Is it like a hate speech law?
Basically, yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, because I went to an event here in London for YouTube, and they couldn't define hate speech, and everybody was kind of angry. Even the people who were like, "We want hate speech policy," and the one person in the room who didn't, me, we were all like, "Define it." And typically, it's defined as, targeting a marginalized group or targeting a group with disrespectful or discriminatory language based on race, gender, national origin, things like that. So is that basically is that how the law functions? Is it similar to like our perception of the hate speech policy?
Well, yeah, so you basically have within some laws you have you can have laws that are, or you can have crimes that are backed by religious or racial hatred.
Oh, hate
right?
crime.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So that is one thing. But then you also have hate speech laws, which basically are very badly defined, and all we really know about them is based on the case law. So basically how the judges and how the courts have ruled on those orders. And so we had the case of Count Dankula, right, who was found guilty of being grossly offensive. Now, nobody knows what grossly offensive is, right? Because what if you make a joke about, let's say, obese people? Or if you make a joke about the LGBT community, then immediately that becomes a hate crime because you are targeting a marginalized group with potentially disrespectful language. And so nobody really knows, as you said, what hate speech is at the end of the day. But clearly there is still there's loads of prosecutions following these hate speech laws, and from 2016, 2017, there has been, I think, 100%, no, maybe I'm wrong, but like there has been a significant increase of prosecutions for hate speech, basically. Yeah.
So, what is this event going to be? Is because I didn't know if it was going to be like a big protest. I know, Tommy did that thing where he went into Speaker's Corner and people showed up. Just the other week, Sargon had a march. I shouldn't say Sargon, but the Liberalists did. But this sounds like it's going to be like an organized like venue or theater. Like, what is this?
Well, so basically, the people who are organizing it set it up in Trafalgar Square in collaboration with the police and ensuring public safety, making sure that there aren't going to be any aggression going on, or at least limited as much as possible. Basically, there's going to be a stage, a backstage, a very large screen on a bus, so that the pre-recorded interviews that we have with like Lauren and Brittany and myself as well can be on the big screen. So
that was actually my next question, because a lot of people are asking, you just answered this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Lauren, Brittany, and Martin are featured in this video, but they can't come here. Yeah,
exactly. And so basically what the organizers have done is include them within this by featuring them in the video, because the one of the reasons behind this protest is the fact that they were banned for exercising the right to free speech, which we think is wrong. But on top of this, we're also trying to include them in the very event, since they can't actually be there. So by showing them on the large screen, I don't know if you've seen, or if the people watching have seen, those pre-recorded 1-minute interviews with them. Those are going to be featured basically on the
they're already up on YouTube?
Yeah, they're up on Tommy Robinson's Facebook.
When did those go up?
They've been going up for like the past couple of days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like Gavin, Milo.
Yeah. So is Gavin going to be here in London?
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, one other thing I heard too is people said that Milo wouldn't show up, that Milo wouldn't come to London, but is he going to be here?
Oh, he arrived already, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. So how did you end up getting involved in this?
Yeah, so basically a while ago I went to Sargon of Akkad's event in King's College. Maybe quite a few of you heard of it. And basically Antifa came to disturb the event and brought smoke bombs and stuff like that. And so I recorded it. It got like 400,000 views on Twitter. So it went quite large. And then I grew on Twitter and I contacted one of the other girls who was there, because I saw that she had a Polish flag in her name. And it turned out it was Lucy Brown. And she used to work for the Rebel, and we became really, really good friends, and she kind of introduced me to quite a lot of people, so that's how it happened.
Rather simple. You know what I find really funny? There was I think it was an article from RT that talked about that King's College incident, and it called Sargon alt-right.
Oh, yeah.
Like, protesters were disrupting alt-right speech, and I'm like, it's funny, because if you watch the video, Sargon is in the middle of disparaging the alt-right when the protesters come in screaming no alt-right.
Yeah.
You were there for that?
Yeah, I was there. So basically what they were talking about was free speech, and Yaron Brook was talking about how YouTube and all these private platforms should have a right to exclude speakers because it is their private property, where Sargon was disagreeing because his argument was that this was a public forum rather than private property. It was basically that kind of disagreement between them. But, we didn't have a chance to finish it because the Antifa was storming the room. But
he actually brought up the alt-right. Like, I mean, Sargon, it's funny, people who watch this probably know who he is and probably know that he mocks the alt-right. He ridicules them.
Oh, he does, yeah.
So it's just absolutely crazy to me. One of the things that I've been talking about, I talk about very, very often, but has come up a bit in the past week or so, is, Jordan Peterson being called a darling of the alt-right, or being called the alt-right intellectual. There's another aspect outside of the free speech issue that affects basically everybody who's involved, where they're maligned by the press, by activists. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you experienced anything like that?
Yeah, well, definitely. So, for example, Hope Not Hate, it's this group that supposedly promotes hope rather than hate, and friendship and diversity. And basically they took the video, the promo, and they cut out all the people of color from that promo. And
that sounds racist.
And said that we are racist and that we're promoting hate speech.
Oh, okay. They went the other way with it.
Yeah, and called us racist. And so it's very interesting. And then all these people who were in the video, they started to tweet about it, like, why are we not in it? Why were we cut out? And yeah, basically because they wanted to manipulate this evidence that this is some sort of event that it really isn't.
One of the guys in the video has the symbol It looks like a swastika, but it's like the inverted version of it.
So basically, he is Chinese Malaysian, and in those South Asian or East South Asian cultures, the swastika means something completely different.
But it's the other direction.
It is the inverted way. It's the Hindu
like
swastika.
The original version of it.
Precisely. So it's the one that's supposed to mean good luck, and basically he had no idea what it means until he came to Europe. And I've actually spoken to some other people who study at my university who came from China. They also didn't understand the significance that it has here. And so, now he has that mark, there's nothing he can do with it, but the fact that people are taking it and saying that he is supposedly a Chinese Malaysian Nazi is kind of absurd.
It's disingenuous, because when I first saw it, I knew it was inverted, and I know that it comes from like a spiritual religious kind of thing, but at the same time, I'm like, it doesn't matter, because people don't know what that symbol means, and as far as anyone else is concerned, he's literally got a swastika on his face.
Yeah.
It doesn't, so of course they're going to use it. You know what I mean?
And there was a thought of perhaps, or I suggested that actually perhaps maybe it would be better if we edited it. But then, that's not what the event was about. The people would still see Tan with that because it's tattooed or it's scarred on his face, and, everybody wants to be honest about the participants. So it's interesting because I suppose that all these Hope Not Hate people are cultural relativists, and they would want to be accommodating of other cultures, but they're really not, and they're using all this evidence, manipulating evidence in order to present us in this really bad light.
I don't know what Dankula's political alignment is. I know that Sargon, his political compass test showed that he's like social liberal, he's like center left. But I wonder if there was a chance, for you guys to bring on any left-wing speakers other than... Because, although Sargon does this political compass test, it shows that he's left, a lot of people still perceive him as being right. So I wonder if there was any attempt to bring on people who are perceivably left.
Absolutely, and we actually are. We're bringing Ali Dawa, who he interviewed Lawrence Southern at one point, and he has been following Tommy Robinson for years, trying to expose him. Basically he's going to speak. The strange thing is that he himself always draws a distinction between hate speech and free speech, but because we think that free speech is so fundamental, we want to give him that platform so he can also present his arguments. Is there really a difference between hate speech and free speech? And perhaps in that way, we're going to cultivate and encourage debate in that sphere, and hopefully, because we have so many arguments, that we are going to convince the larger population that they should stand on our side. So yeah, there's absolutely been effort to bring people from the left as well.
Money where your mouth is, I guess. Yeah, I saw a tweet earlier from him saying like, let me speak. So I guess you guys are going to let him speak, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Any final thoughts before we get ready for tomorrow?
I'm just really excited. One more thing is that Antifa are planning, you spoke about this in your video already, there's quite a lot of Antifa that are supposedly going to come.
The MMA Antifa.
Exactly, the MMA Antifa, but also like Antifa from my university, Antifa from other universities, so it's going to be quite wild what is happening, but we're just hoping that basically the police and also the people who are going there, primarily on our side, are going with the mindset that we're not going to fight, we're going to be peaceful, and we're just going to be participating in this protest. Because if the fight and the aggression that is going to happen there is going to outshine the mission statement of this event, then it's basically us failing in what we wanted to achieve. And so hopefully we'll be able to maintain peace and order, and everything will be fine. I
have a feeling the news will turn into clashes. The story will end up being about Antifa disrupting or something.
All we can do is put as much effort into the event and make sure that at the end of the day it resonates with as many people as possible.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for sitting down, talking to me, and explaining it. Do you want to mention your YouTube or anything before we sign up?
If you guys just if you enjoy this, if you look up Opinionated European on YouTube and at Opinionated Euro on Twitter, you can find me there for more.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you all so much for hanging out and watching as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Timcast. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos, and new videos every day at 4 p.m. Tomorrow is going to be a podcast discussion. And I'm not going to say who we are going to be doing the podcast with just yet, because I don't know if we're actually going to get the conversation in before we have to go to bed or just get ready for work or whatever. But tomorrow is the actual event, so I will possibly be live streaming. We'll see what happens. But at any rate, I'll just say it again. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, because we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll find out. Adios.